I don't know why, but I'm stuck at saying buongiorno. All right. This is an intro to the video that will follow. And I recorded the video yesterday at night. And sometimes I just want to say that, everything is relative, which means that, when I'm angry and I feel good about being angry and I do things because I feel angry, then I may wake up the next day and then I have to feel the shame of my actions. And then I can hold on to my anger and keep doing these things because I'm trying to tell myself that this anger is righteous anger and I have a right to be angry. But if you have a right, then you also always have a left. Yeah? And it's interesting that we say I have a right, because a right is the masculine. The right side of things is the masculine. And the left side is then the feminine. So, just to say to you, I talked to you about something, and sometimes I think I say or do things and they're very bad and very angry, but ultimately actually they're not. Because what do I really do? I feel incredible anger. And people make a joke to me and they say, should we buy you shoes? And I say, what the fuck? Is this a joke to you? Do I look like a joke to you? I ask her. Because she says, should we buy you shoes? And she makes a joke out of it. That I'm walking barefoot. I know why I'm walking barefoot. And then she says, should we buy you shoes? And I say, am I a joke to you? Is life a joke to you? This is my life you're making fun of, woman. And then this other guy starts talking and he barges in because I told her that she should, that she should shut up. I don't know if I said the F word. But I told her to be quiet and think about who she's talking to. Because I didn't make fun of her. Why does she have to make fun of me? Why does she have to make me look like maybe I'm missing something? Because maybe I should just draw the picture of the situation as it happened. I felt like there was a lot of pressure on me. Emotional pressure. Just pressure of choices that I have to make. I'm just gonna settle into this now. You see, I had to digest it, and that's why, I just ate and I slept and then I wake up. Sometimes it's the emotional pressure that you're holding yourself. And at the moment, what I'm saying is I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm simply reacting to the way I feel. And if I feel anger, then sometimes I feel like giving in to anger. Because I feel like I have to protect myself. But the question is, from what am I protecting myself? And what would be the consequence? Because you don't know where it's gonna end. But I also have the feeling people don't really feel like, I want to fight, which is true. I don't want to fight. And I'm not sure if I'm asking for it through my actions. Because the truth is, nobody actually wants to fight. Some people maybe want to fight, but I don't want to fight. But I'm fighting, regardless of whether I want to fight or not. Right? I don't want to fight, but if people say something to me, or they just jump on my back, and they just keep telling me what to do, then at one point I'm just gonna say, stop, it's enough now. You know, I was pulling my cart, and my cart was heavy, like heavier than before. And I was walking through the streets and I felt like, you know, I'm focused, I'm determined. And I was walking, and I was walking, and I was walking. And then I came to this cafe, and there was a very, you know, I'm just gonna say it, a very fat man. You know, another man which is also at least chubby. And then there was a woman. And there was some kind of boundary because they were working on the road, and so the road was blocked on the side. So normally you could walk there, but now you couldn't. And so there was a building, and there was all this boundary, so I couldn't walk anywhere else. And then here was a table, and then there was a dog, and the dog was blocking my way. It was like a small dog, and the small dog, you know, it was a beautiful dog, all right, in his own way. But he was sitting there like he was owning the street. You know, he was blocking my way, and I felt, what the fuck, man? Just get away now. And why don't you tell him to get away? So he sat there, you know, like a lion, prowling around or just sitting there, owning the street. And I thought, what are you doing? Get out of the way. And they told me, I don't know who they were or how they were connected to the dog, but it felt like the dog was actually keeping them safe, right? It felt like they were feeling pleasure through the presence of the dog, because what is a dog? It's like consciousness. And they felt like the dog is holding the ground for us and we can feel safe here. That's actually what might have happened. It's possible. Because the curious thing was, I was standing there and I was just focusing on the dog to leave, and the dog left. I didn't say a word to him. And then I said something like, he sits there like he's owning the street until a bigger lion comes or something. And so he moved off. Yeah, that had to come out. Sometimes a sneeze is stuck here somewhere. You know, this is how you consciously learn how to channel the energy. You know, you feel it coming up, the energy, and then it's stuck here. I do this. Often happens that way. There's not even snother involved because, right? This feels better. And sometimes it's essential that I talk about things. And after I talk about them, it leaves. And I often had it already. That when I say things or talk about things that have happened to me, something happens and something leaves me. And I'm sometimes not sure what leaves me, but now I feel more clear again. Because somehow this was blocking me in a way. Why? Because I thought it was my fault what had happened. But it wasn't. It was just that I was there. And then they try to use me to uphold the image of, I'm the weirdo or something. That's how it felt like. Because what happened, I'm just going to analyze it. I put my will over the dog, you could say, without touching him or saying a word, and the dog moved out of the way. And then I pulled my card, I said my bit about something about lions. I can't remember everything I say when I'm in the, in flow. Or when I'm getting shit done, if you want to say it like this. And then I kept walking, and then the woman said, because she was being flanked basically by these two guys. And she said, should we buy you shoes? It's like, what the fuck? And I actually wanted to walk. I wanted to continue, but I couldn't do that. And so I turned around and I said, I'm not sure what I said. But the way I remember it, which is a bit flashy, I think I said something like, what? And then she repeated the question. I said, sorry, is this a joke to you? Like, are you trying to laugh about me? About a man that carries the burden of his lost love and his maybe newfound love and all his emotional heartache, everything that rips him apart, all his fears and sorrows, his belief, his trust and his faith, basically his whole life. And I'm carrying it in bare feet. And she's trying to laugh about me. A lot of people laugh about me when I walk through the streets, as you see me, in bare feet, with my poncho, which I like very much. And I'm pulling this cart up the mountain, and people see me, they start to laugh. And every time it's like this throwing stones at you. And now the question arises why smoking cannabis is supposed to bring you to a state of being stoned. You could say you're being turned into stone because some of these people, they just sit on the couch and they don't move anymore for hours. Yeah. So being stoned is also taking the blame. You sit at home, you smoke a joint, and then you merge into the couch. The reason why you're probably doing this is because you're heavy with the burden of your actions and your choices. So I could now, because I'm afraid of what I did and what would come out of it, I could just hide in this apartment. I could do that. And I could say, yeah, I'm so scared of what I've done and what comes out of it that I have no other way than to just stay here, and now I'm going to find a dealer and I'm going to buy some weed and I'm just going to hide myself, or I'm going to buy a cart of alcohol, a cart? I'm not sure if that's the word, like 20 bottles, and then I'm going to get drunk. And yeah, but for how long am I going to get drunk? For how long am I going to stone myself into oblivion by the strongest weed that I can get so that I can forget the things that I did in my life and that weigh me down? Because the only way out of this is not, it's just like you have to start crawling up the mountain of shit that's burying you so that you can stand on top on the end. So what you have to do is not sit on your couch, but start doing things to yourself, and not like physically injuring yourself, but doing what you actually want to do. Like good things that make you feel like, hey, I'm actually, I'm okay the way I am. But there are certain things that I would like to change still. That's the way I'm doing it. So yesterday, was it good, was it bad? Well, it showed me something, that people can trigger me with really easy questions, and in the end, I might get injured physically, which I don't want to, and I might injure other people, which I also don't want to. But the thing is, she injured me. But a more truthful thing would be probably that I was injured and she was trying to get at me, and she just used something that she felt like would trigger me, because some people, they have a sense for what they have to say to trigger another person. And sometimes I'm like this, like angry walking around. Not because I am really angry, but because I'm trying to keep people away from me. Because I'm in a very sensitive state. So I'm trying to be like cool and angry. And then I look at everybody really angry so that they just stay away from me. But how far do you go with that anger? When I go around and I look other men in the eyes until they look away, well, you might just find someone that says, "What are you looking at me for?" And then you say, "Keep moving, man." But what if he doesn't keep moving? What if he pulls out a knife and comes at you? What do you do then? Do you then just run away? If I wouldn't have looked him in the eyes, he wouldn't have thought I was challenging him. But maybe I looked him in the eyes, thought that he would challenge me, and then I can engage with him and I say, "Hey, what are you doing that for, man? I just looked you in the eye. Why do you have to do that?" Yeah, because he's afraid. That's why he has a knife with him. He's full of fear and hatred. And he's just looking for someone that he can like stab that hatred into. And that's like uncontrolled rage and anger. So yesterday, I was in that situation and she asked me the question about, should we buy you shoes? I was like, "Is this a joke to you?" And then she said something. And I said, maybe she should first think about to whom she's talking, because she doesn't know who I am and what I carry. And when she asks me such a stupid question, it's very disrespectful. And she doesn't even get that. It's very disrespectful. Just sitting in the round, being fat and obese and chubby, sitting there drinking alcohol while other people are working. And then you can't even tell the dog to move out of the way. To tell me to walk around the dog, it's like, this is disrespectful. You're occupying the streets with your ignorance. And you're trying to make it look like you're doing something good, sitting around doing nothing, getting drunk while the world is falling to pieces. It's just this lazy ass mentality. Just sit around like, "Ah." Yeah, if you've done a hard day's work, which means like really hard work, and it's not an office job. That means like you go around, you help people, you talk to people, I don't know. This is the real work. Instead of sitting around getting drunk. So that's what pisses me off also. So sometimes I have to understand why I react the way I react. And then this woman talks to me. Why? Because she probably wanted my attention. So maybe she liked something about me. But that's not how you engage with someone, right? She could have done something else. "Hey, sorry, what are you doing, right? It looks interesting." So she asked me, "Should we buy you shoes?" She could have also said nothing. But it was nagging at her. She wanted to say something. She wanted me to pay attention to her. Now she got attention, but probably not the kind of attention that she thought she would get. Because I just turned out to be a bit angry, right? It's like, what the fuck do you want? Don't talk to me that way. It's disrespectful. And then the really, I'm just going to say it, the really fat guy said, just keep walking. I said, what? You want to have a go at me? Come on, man. He kept sitting. And then this other guy started to, and I don't know, I just started to insult him. So what the fuck, man? You're an asshole. And then he got up and he came towards me. I was like, all right, come here then, you know? I'm just waiting for it. And then his friend came and said like, whoa, sit down. So am I being righteous? Am I being an asshole? Am I being bad? Am I being overly aggressive? Actually not. But if there is a challenge, sometimes you have to react. You know, I'm not an idiot. And with every person I meet, I'm also a little bit different. Yeah, there are people where I'm more gentle at first. And if they start pissing me off because they're taking it for granted that I give them a lot, then I start being a little bit more angry. So I also adjust myself. Maybe that's the way of the water, right? You know, it's like Bruce Lee said it, be water, my friend. What he means is water is adaptable. It's flexible, it's flowing into all kinds of things. You know, it's flowing into crevices, you know, it's part of trees, it's part of humans, it's part of everything. And it's simply doing what it's doing. And it's either just being water in the ocean, but it can also be a tsunami, right? It's like water is doing whatever water is doing. Water can make stones break. And so sometimes I'm flowing and I don't know where I'm flowing, and then I'm in a certain mood, and then people talk to me, and then I play ping pong with them, and then they realize, oh damn, he's better at ping pong. Because they were trying to play a game like, oh, we're super strong. You know, should we buy you shoes? It's just like looking down on me. You have no right to look down on me. Let's bring it to my level. What are you saying to me? Quiet. Yeah? If you get up from your chair to walk towards me and have a tussle, then you have to be prepared to go all the way. Like, this is Valhalla, man. And what I realized is that if I would live in another world, you know, I would be in the middle of the battlefield holding an axe. I realize that now. And I realize that the way it used to be, how it would be, you are actually chasing your death. You know you're gonna die. And that's how these Vikings must have lived. They're waiting for the one guy that can give it to them. And until then, they're gonna keep fighting. Because they're not gonna roll over and let some suited pig that drives around in limousines tell them what to do. No, they would chop off his head. It's like, that's how it is. You know, that's how it would have been with the Vikings. If these people that are forming the state, yeah, and access power through police and clubs and maze and violence, because the state in itself is violent. is violence. And so what would they do? Well, with the Vikings, which in a way I present the Viking spirit, it's just like work hard and protect yourself. And so you keep walking. I've never really hit anyone, at least, childhood, my brother and we sometimes fought. I don't want to fight people, but people often want to fight with me. I don't want to fight people, but there are people who want to fight with me. And I have to learn to deal with that. Because sometimes people come and they openly attack me. Not physically, but through their words. And that's a threat to what I'm trying to represent. And I'm just making a point, right? Because somebody who's really angry and who's carrying a knife, he wouldn't just say something like this. Like somebody who really knows what they're talking about wouldn't threaten me in any way. Because he would probably see that I am prepared to go all the way. And if I would be a Viking back in the days, I would have been running around chasing my own death. I'm a fighter is what I'm saying. And I said no. When I was wasting away and I thought I'm gonna, die, or I had suicidal thoughts, I said, this is not the way my death looks like. My death looks different. And so I chose, okay, I have to continue living. And then I had to deal with all the shit that I was feeling, all the emotions. I had to deal with them. And that made me stronger and stronger and stronger. And now I feel like I'm so strong. Sometimes it's getting out of control. I really have to go to the toilet. I also want to keep playing chess because it helps me. It helps me. Yeah, it helps me literally to understand what moves to make next. Because if I can strategize at least a little, then I can checkmate people without ever getting to the point where it has to, be real fighting. So you have to ask yourself, if you constantly get into battles with others, why you are getting into them. Because maybe you're even looking for it. I'm sometimes looking for a challenge. But the actual challenge I'm looking for is a woman. And I want to take it out on the mattress of love. Sexually, this is also the yoga, pulling and pushing, tantra. That's actually what I'm looking for. Only every woman that tries it, it's they're actually very sneaky or very weird. And then I have to say, don't talk to me again. Because you're not worth my time. And sometimes it's hard, right? I'm sure there is a woman out there somewhere. Maybe you've met her, maybe I haven't. Any woman has the potential to change. That's what I believe, such as I had or still have the potential to change. I can look at my actions, I can say, all right, keep going, let's fight. Peacefully, if that's possible.